Non-competes have been battered inside of the court system, right? They've been beat up, they've become bloodied. Non-competes are very difficult to actually enforce. Okay. Oh, this is from Kathy Massaro. Wonderful. Let's see what the question says. My husband is currently employed and we own a company. We want to buy an existing company in his line of work, but he has a non-compete for 1 year within a 100-mile radius. Wow, that's a pretty big radius. Could there be any ramification to him if he quit to work full-time in our existing company and I purchased the existing company in his field as the sole owner? The plan would be to then make adjustments once his 1 year non-compete is over. Kathy, I love the creativity here. Let me address this in a couple fronts. Non-competes have been battered inside of the court system, right? They've been beat up, they've become bloodied. Non-competes are very difficult to actually enforce. I'm not trying to tell you to do things to skirt what the agreements that are currently in place are or to push the envelope or anything, but I just want you to understand that they are generally hard to enforce. Not impossible, but hard to enforce, specifically when you get into very large radius, right? When you're talking about a radius of 100 miles, that seems to be a bit egregious, right? And that could be also something that a court would push back on if the employer tried to enforce it against your husband. But what I would say is this. I've seen many circumstances where husband and wives will do something along the lines of what you're talking about, where one spouse will go out and create or buy a company. Not always buy. Most of the time it's creating a new business, because most of the time when you're exiting, you're exiting because you want to start your own enterprise. But buying, it's the same ultimate scenario, right? You're going down a path where potentially you will be competing with your former employer. The thing I would be really concerned with is not on the non-compete side, but on the non-disclosure side and the utilization of any type of intellectual property that your husband may have been exposed to in his current employee. So I would be very careful with that. The other thing you'd want to be careful with is you, meaning your husband, owes a duty of loyalty to his current employer. So if he's sort of working behind the scenes to do something that's not necessarily in his current employer's favor, that could be problematic. I would much rather you go through the process of making a decision. Yes, you're going to consider doing this, but then go through the process of actually terminating employment, and then go through the process of having possibly you engage and go down the route of investigating the acquisition of a business that is in the similar field as your husband's current employer. I'm not a big fan of this strategy. I would much rather you consider doing something completely different. This way, you don't necessarily burn a bridge. I think that's something that is a little bit not given as much attention to in today's day and age, is that when you develop a relationship with your employer, you don't necessarily want to throw that truly out the window. Unless there's some challenges that are going on with the relationship as it stands, I wouldn't necessarily recommend going down this route. I would much rather you investigate other opportunities of value add that you can bring to the marketplace, maybe skill development on your husband's part so that he can add value in other ways. And I think, if I remember correctly in your question, you had mentioned that maybe your husband would jump into your business. There could be some value add in that capability. Is there an ability for you to expand the existing enterprise by having the two of you now work focused on building that and to scale the revenue there so that it makes up for any lost revenue from your husband exiting the existing company? So that would be my 2 cents on the matter. I'm not a big fan of going down the route of creating this potential animosity and potential friction between an existing employer and what you would like to do post-employment. So that's my 2 cents. I would advise necessarily against going down that route.
If you got value from this video, go ahead and click that like button. And if you want to be informed of new videos that could help take your life and your business to the next level, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.